In my last video, I explained and talked about liquidity briefly. So in this video, we will take a look at utility and liquidity, how it shapes the crypto space, and obviously how it affects the Pi network. This is another part of the series of videos to educate the Pi network community and expose them to better truth, rather than relying on information that is made up by others. To be honest, you might stop this video or you might decide that it is a waste of time. It's all up to you. For the serious ones, the journey to 2026 has begun, and you should at least be in a position of acquiring basic knowledge of the crypto space if it is something you still want. Like it or not, come 2026, cryptocurrency ecosystem will infuse with the AI ecosystem. And where would you say you are in the corridor of knowledge? So pay attention as we take another critical but basic approach to this topic. Now imagine the crypto world as a bustling marketplace. On one side you have utility, which is the coin's purpose and its real-world job. On the other side stands liquidity, the ease of trading or cashing out that coin. Together, these forces shape a cryptocurrency's fate. Let's take a stroll through their story. Utility is about use cases, a crypto's function in a blockchain ecosystem. If a token solves real problems or does something people actually use, it tends to draw crowds. A cryptocurrency's utility can significantly influence its value because a token with real, tangible use cases tends to attract more users. For example, Ethereum's Ether is in high demand because it pays for gas on a giant network of apps, while BNB pays for gas on Binance's chain. Those users make these coins likely in higher general demand. In short, the more useful a coin is, like powering smart contracts or enabling payments, the more demand it creates. Hope you are following. Don't worry, I will not be technical. Like and share the video so that others can also get to find this video and gain as well. When a coin that has no real use, it's like a tool no one needs. Such tokens might see early hype or speculation, but without a purpose, they often fade. Pi Network's own team warns about this. Meme coins can spark community buzz, but they lack underlying utility and thus are unlikely to be sustainable. In other words, a currency people can actually spend or build on usually ends up being more than just a passing fad. This is the pure reason why I don't follow hype. For context, I will give you some coins that didn't gain much hype, but they are worth enough to make anyone who participated early millionaires. ICP is above $5, Clanker is above $91, QNT is exactly $81 at the time of recording this video. I can go on and on. Mind you, these are new coins. I know some of you will have a lot to say. Leave your comments in the comment section. Now consider liquidity. Essentially, how easy it is to swap the coin for cash or another crypto without disturbing its price. Think of liquidity as a bustling bazaar versus an empty market stall. In a high liquidity scenario like Bitcoin's market, you can sell or buy large amounts with hardly a ripple in the price. As one explainer puts it, if Bitcoin has high liquidity, you can easily sell, trade, or spend it worldwide. That means one whale selling a chunk won't tank the price drastically because there are enough buyers ready. But if liquidity is low, the market is shallow. Even a single large sell-off can send prices plunging. Analysts warn that illiquid tokens are prone to drastic price drops if anyone sells, as there may not be enough demand. In decentralized exchanges, this effect is stark. High liquidity typically leads to smaller price fluctuations, while low liquidity can lead to drastic price changes when large orders are placed. In other words, without enough buyers and sellers at every price, one big trade can swing the market wildly up or down. So what wins, utility or liquidity? It's not really one or the other, but the dance between them that matters. Utility draws users and buyers, more people wanting the coin, while liquidity allows those buyers and sellers to actually trade smoothly. A highly useful coin with no liquidity is like a powerful spell no one knows how to cast. Its value is stuck on paper. Conversely, a very liquid coin with no utility can be a roller coaster of pumps and dumps. You already guessed it, quick hit meme coins. Fun for traders, but shaky for long-term value. Price-wise, utility and liquidity pull in different ways. Strong utility drives steady demand, which tends to push a coin's price upward over time as more people adopt it. Analysts note that coins used for everyday tasks, gas fees, payments, governance, usually stay in demand and can hold value. At the same time, deep liquidity tends to calm volatility. As Vitalik Buterin observes, large popular coins usually have deeper liquidity, enabling large transactions with minimal impact on prices. In plain terms, a deep market can absorb big trades without flipping the price. When liquidity is thin, however, the opposite happens. In low liquidity markets, even modest trades create big ripples. One analysis warns that if you dump a large amount of an illiquid crypto, you'll dramatically drive down the price. That's why many new or obscure tokens swing wildly, because a few trades move the meter a lot. Conversely, pumping a thin market can shoot the price up just as fast. In short, utility gives a coin a reason to be bought, while liquidity governs how stable the price stays during those buys and sells. Now let's zoom in on Pi Network through this lens. Pi is a newcomer that started as a mobile-mined crypto and only recently opened up to trading. Its mainnet launched on February 20th, 2025. From day one, the Pi team has been all about building utility. For example, they announced a $100 million Pi Network Ventures Fund explicitly to invest in startups that use Pi in real products and services. The mission? To turn Pi from a widely held token into a widely used one. In practice, that means encouraging apps, games, and businesses to accept Pi as payment or integrate it into their platforms. As the Pi Foundation explains, more adoption means increased utility. You'll actually be able to spend your Pi in more ways. They even emphasize that new Pi-based tokens will serve real use cases, not just pump prices, a conscious effort to keep utility front and center. All this utility building is meant to grow demand for Pi. If millions of pioneers can use Pi to buy goods, play games, or engage in new apps, that real-world usage should give Pi strong staying power. In theory, greater utility should eventually make Pi more valuable because it fills a specific niche and gets people to stick around. In Pi's case, the strategy is to first plant lots of seeds, businesses, apps, tokens, and then let organic use sprout. But what about liquidity for Pi right now? That part is still catching up. At launch, Pi became tradable on a few centralized exchanges, names like OKX, MEXC, Gate.io, BitGet. These are real markets, but Pi is not on the biggest exchanges like Binance and Coinbase yet. CoinGecko notes the mainnet launch let users transfer and sell Pi on supported exchanges. But Coin Bureau points out that because it's missing from top exchanges, Pi's order books are relatively thin. In practical terms, this means buying or selling large amounts of Pi today might move the price more than you'd like. There's also a built-in twist. Many Pi coins are still locked or not yet migrated to mainnet. Pi has an incentive program that encourages users to lock up coins in return for extra rewards. That's great for holding power, but it means not all mined Pi is currently liquid. As one report explains, a significant share of tokens remain unmigrated or locked, which impacts individual users' ability to sell. So even though the network boasts millions of users, only a portion of that Pi supply is actually available on the market right now. So Pi's current landscape, high utility potential, but modest liquidity. It's planting a garden of use cases, apps, businesses, utility tokens, to make Pi genuinely useful. Meanwhile, its liquidity is growing but is still relatively shallow, only on certain exchanges, with locked tokens keeping supply tight. How will this affect Pi's price? In the near term, low liquidity could make Pi's price volatile. If suddenly a big sell order hit one of those smaller exchanges, the price could dip more sharply than a well-established coin. On the flip side, a large buy could spike Pi's price. That's just physics of thin markets. However, the team seems to be aware. They're rolling out decentralized exchange, DEX, and automated market maker, AMM, features on Pi's testnet, which should eventually allow anyone to add Pi to liquidity pools. When those pools come alive on mainnet, Pi's liquidity should deepen, helping smooth out trades. In the grand tale, Pi's journey will hinge on harmonizing these two forces. Its growing utility, that is, real apps, Pi-based tokens, startup adoption, is the foundation of long-term value. Over time, if Pi truly becomes useful in people's everyday lives, demand will naturally increase. Alongside that, building liquidity, more exchange listings, DEX liquidity pools, unlock supply, will let that demand translate into stable market action. As one Pi analysis puts it, the ecosystem's strength comes when use keeps usage aligned with real activity and utility. To wrap up, I will put it this way: both utility and liquidity are heroes in the crypto story. Utility brings meaning and real demand to a coin. Liquidity gives traders and investors confidence that they can enter or exit positions without chaos. Pi Network is a live experiment in balancing the two. The Pi community is busy boosting utility, from venture investments to new tokens, while also gradually unlocking liquidity by listing on exchanges and opening up DeFi features. Watching Pi's price and adoption will show how well this balance holds, because at the end of the day, a crypto needs a job to do and a market where people can trade it freely. Pi's story is just beginning, and its future chapters will be written by how well it weaves together utility and liquidity in the real world. Join me next as we take a good look at the Pi Network token unlocking, how it affects Pi Network, how this will decide the price of the Pi Network coin in the coming months. Till the next video, keep mining.